Hey team, welcome to our sync about merge chain support for fast forward merge. A couple of things that I want to get out of this session is an understanding of how we would break up this work. We have some placeholder issues that Vitika and I talked about, and she created it under the original. We elevated the original issue as an epic and have issues under that. And I just want to make kind of revisit what Shinya's estimate was on what the work to be done. He had one of, in that I linked to his comment of what the estimates MRs are, if that is valid. And then also any questions we have on how we'd move forward with this. I originally had this issue in as a candidate for the next milestone. Obviously, we needed to have the discussion before even considering it for a milestone, but I'm hoping that if we break this work up and do some, let's say we decide to do some of the front end work for changes to the copy on some existing fields, and we have it behind a feature flag until everything can be delivered, I would be happy with that to get started on something in the next milestone. So take a look there. So maybe, I wonder if we can start as far as the first discussion item. I meant to put it in here. Does Shinya's comment about how we could break up the works, is it feasible? This is a question for anyone who's had a chance to look at that. I'll give you a moment to look at it.
Is all of the back end work already in place for this?
No,
No.
none of it is. Which is, and when you say the back end work, we're specifically talking about where he says automatic rebase in merge trains. I'll copy
yeah,
it.
that or anything else. I haven't looked like into the feature completely. But I only saw the front end labels, so I just assumed that there was no back end work.
So this issue, as originally written, I think they were going to tackle it as a front end thing, but based on his comment there, he's suggesting the back end work would be making the rebase automatic. And maybe I should take a step back. At the top of our agenda, I did state what the problem to solve is. Currently, merge trains will drop a fast forward MR that's been added, but by the time merge train gets to it, the source branch cannot be fast forwarded. And so then merge train doesn't automatically rebase. It will drop that fast forward MR, which means that requires manual rebase of the dropped MR and then re-adding it to merge trains. We would like merge trains to handle that automatically, the rebase. So that in and of itself would require some back-end work. Now there'd be front-end work of some of the messaging that has to change in the system. Like for example, instead of saying this is dropped because it can't be fast forward, it may say either the application is successfully rebased or the application was not able to rebase and then drop it. So that's an example of some of the front end work in the copy that has to change. If you look at the title of the issues under this epic that I linked to at the top of the agenda, you could see we have docs update, and then we have two issues: add system messages for MR page, for merge request page for the merge train support. I think that's front end. Update project settings copy. I think that's front end. We haven't added an issue for the backend work to automatically rebase, because I wasn't sure if that should be its own issue or does it have to be tied together with system messages, because that kind of is what's happening. We want whatever's happening automatically to also send system message. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. To answer your question, yeah, I mean, as long as we're working behind a feature flag, we can go ahead and start working on this. I mean, his breakdown seems reasonable to me. I haven't like dug super deep into like the nitty gritty stuff, but yeah, that seems like a reasonable breakdown approach.
Yeah, I think I'd have to look at it
Yeah.
async to
Mhm.
tell if it's like fully accurate, but it looks pretty reasonable on first glance.
Okay. If we started with, so I'll go ahead and create just a separate issue for the item that Shinya suggested, which is the automatic rebase. I threw it under overview 1C, automatic rebase in merge strain. I think maybe I might target that for candidate 13.8, and for 13.7, maybe some of the front end work. But I have to, I guess I need to know what the estimate would be for the front end work for that. So can I, Peyton, do you want to, let me check with Sam. I know we're past the point where we're doing estimates for 13.7, but I would like to see those two front end issues for adding the system messages. I'm sorry, for updating the project settings copy, what that effort would be.
I think this whole epic is very backend heavy backend, because it's basically the fast forward merge is not anything that we support, especially with merge train, but like I think we have to change a lot of the logic underneath the merge train. We might to create a different strategy that is being used, because I think the current strategy, or like most of the code that we have for with merge train in terms of the core logic, it might not work in this case, because with fast forward merge, as soon as the merge train merge the tip of the train, then the rest of the train needs to be recalculated as of now, because it's not fast forward merge. So it means that we have to rebase every single time we actually merge something with the merge train. So I'm wondering there if we might need to think about different strategy on when a merge request gets into the train, we automatically might need to rebase it as it gets into the train in a specific order. So then we can be confident that the fast forward merge works. Because as of now, this will bring even if we implement the fast forward merge on the merge side of the merge train, it might bring the entire train into a halt, because we have to rebase all the time. We have to recalculate the whole train every time something gets merged. I think this is my understanding of the problem. I may not be full clear with the way merge train works. Like I haven't looked at the code in details, but this is my general kind of concerns. But I'm sure, like maybe Alison or Furkan have thought more deeply about that. I'm not sure. Or do we have the information from Shinya more specific in terms of implementation, or what kind of challenges from the back end that this involves?
I think you're right, Fabio, that if we had to rebase a fast forward merge, that it would require rebasing everything else in the train. But isn't the nature of merge trains, let's say there's 10 that's running concurrently, if the one in position 2 fails, the nature of merge changes, it would restart the pipelines for everything else and remove. It kind of does a rebase in a way, doesn't it? Or maybe that's not the word rebase, but it removes the merged content of whatever was dropped from the train, and
yeah,
it restarts.
But the problem, the way we merge today is we try a normal merge, So that might work most of the time if the changes between the branch and master don't overlap. So if there is no conflict, then we do a merge, and then if there's any conflict, we drop the MR from the train and recalculate from that point on. But we fast forward, even if there is no conflict, if the master advances, you have to rebase in order to then merge it. So even with a normal merge, that would be possible. With fast forward, because it's just like a pointer, we are moving the pointer of the branch from one commit to another one, and there is no actual merge commit. So in that case, every time the merge train merges something, advances the target branch, everything else needs to be rebased again, even though there might not be merge conflicts if by doing like with a normal merge.
Okay.
Am I correct on this? I'm making some quick assumptions right now because I'm trying to understand the problem, but this is my understanding. So I would love to be wrong on this. Like, it will make the whole thing more simpler.
I think you're correct based on the comment in the workflow to, wait, there was a comment where it says that everything else in the train would need to be rebased. I'm trying to find where it is in the description. Rebasing, I don't know where I read it. Yeah, it's so under description, further details in the second paragraph, in the last sentence, it does say, in order to actually complete the merge train also needs to rebase the entire feature branch and then merge. Oh, but there was some place where Shinya actually says in his comments, it was a comment that said it would require rebasing the train itself, all of the subsequent MRs in the train.
So yeah, this is a different strategy of adding things to the train. So that means that with the normal strategy, we just keep doing what we do. But if you enable fast forward merge, we need to use a different strategy when adding something to the train. So it might mean as you add something to the train, we rebase on top of the previous changes on the train. And maybe if everything is rebased on top of each other, then it's all going to be a fast forward merge possible. But this is again something that needs to be double checked, because if the first branch in the train rebases against master, and the second branch rebases on top of the first branch, and the third branch rebases on top of the second branch, then once we merge the first one, we can merge all of them as fast forward because there is no changes, really just like a pointer moving. But if we don't rebase as we add something on the train, we will have to rebase at some point during the merge. But at that point, we might need to restart the pipeline, so it might cost more because we first try to run the pipeline, then we cannot merge, so we have to rebase and restart another pipeline. So in that case, it costs us double time.
So that would be potentially adding something, a change to how merge trains work, which is doing the rebase when the fast forward merge gets added.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we do any sort of rebase now. We simply pull something off the train when something can't be merged. So the whole rebase functionality needs to be added to the merge train, which I think is something kind of considerable that needs to be part of the refinement.
Okay. Is that something we would want to do all of that back end work before we start any of the front end, both copy that explains the behavior on the text on the pipeline settings page? Can that be started, or do we want to figure out all the behavior and complete the back end work before we would know how to describe it?
If we do it behind a feature flag, I'm pretty sure we can do it in parallel.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 Would it help? One question that I have is Shinya had separated out on his proposal estimated MRs. He separated out an issue, a step for publishing it, which is the feature flag. It says removal, but I think he also means enabled and then eventually removal. But then the documentation, would it help to document how this would work first before we even, I know in some cases, thinking through how the feature would work and documenting it, even if it's not published yet, might help. I don't know what order it has to happen. Or is this documentation in this case has to happen after the actual backend work is done? Does anyone have a thought on that?
I kind of like that idea. I don't know that, I think the way that Shinya has this written up is to indicate that the documentation is published to users at the end, because we want to publish it before it's ready.
Right.
But I think it would be helpful to at least, even if it's just like rough documentation, kind of describe the feature as we would if we were describing it to a user, even just to share internally so that we know that we're talking about the same thing. And then like, I think that helps uncover any kind of edge cases that we haven't thought about yet, or potential issues. So I think that would be a good thing to work on it in parallel.
Okay.
Do we think we might need to do some sort of spike or POC in terms of the backend logic? Like, is it possible to do today like fast forward merge with merge train, and how we could approach that? Because it seems like even from Shinya's comments, it's something like a kind of quite complex that we can't draw implementation details, like a proposal, a very detailed proposal right now. Like we don't have that. So that means we might need to investigate a little bit more, or how we can maybe do a POC or something like that.
I think that's a good point, Fabio. I think it seems like a lot of the functionality or the scope of this feature is around like communication and settings and like helping users understand what's happening. But if that core fast forward part of it doesn't work, or if it doesn't work how we think it's going to work, then the rest of it doesn't matter. So we should make sure that like, and I think we could probably do that as like one task in isolation behind a feature flag and toggle that in some way, ourselves to ensure that works and it behaves correctly. And then once we're confident with that, then go to build out the rest of it.
I can create an issue to do a POC to confirm what we think, how we would think we would approach it could work. Can we, I would like to put this POC in the next milestone so that we make some progress on this. And then I know you suggested, Darby, doing the documentation in parallel, but maybe we start with that.
Yeah, I would do the POC first, and then docs can come after. Like once that part of it's done, then I think the rest of it falls into place. Or we uncover problems and we have to go back to the drawing board.
Okay, I'll create an issue for a POC, and I'll just do we size POCs? I don't recall. Do we weight them? I'll check with Cheryl. I forgot what our process is. I know spikes and POC is slightly different. I thought we normally time box it to a milestone but not put a weight on it because it's kind of an unknown. But I'll find out from Cheryl and tentatively put in our next milestone and see how far we get with this. Shinya is obviously a good resource when you're doing the POC to work with async, because he has a lot of knowledge around this. Okay, well, a couple of my questions were answered. Let's look at what else we have under discussion. Fabio, you have number 2 and 3.
Yeah, I asked there's some questions regarding the workflows that we have in our issue. So the first one was, I need to open back, so just to see what the workflow was. So on the workflow one, we basically say that the user adds the MR to the merge train, and then the merge train creates a new pipeline and validates the MR. So we actually run the pipeline immediately, and then we rebase on top of the master. And then if the rebase succeeds, we continue. If it fails, we pull that all off the train. But then, so I'm not sure whether these were kind of old notes or were more kind of refined. My opinion, my question was more about, do we run a pipeline immediately before doing a rebase? Or what was the advantage of that?
These are old notes. I think this, let me try to remember when I read this, how I understood it in the context. This was copied up from discussions, comments later in the issue. That's true. There wouldn't be, what would be, I don't know that there would be value in running a pipeline right away before you rebase it. Unless the pipeline that they're running, is there a way to know right away that this is a fast forward merge MR? In which case, if we can detect that, then it would make more sense for step 2 in workflow is just a rebase, like flip-flops 2 and 3 in the workflow 1, right? You would rebase it and then create a pipeline to validate the MR.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is it possible to do some sort of dry run merge, fast forward merge?
I don't know. Maybe that's what I add to our proof of concept to try to understand that too.
Yeah.
Is it even feasible to run a pipeline first, or that one doesn't make sense?
Are these 2 different proposed workflows, or are these both expected to, like, expected behaviors? Does that question make sense?
Yeah, I think from my understanding, it's 2 different use cases. There might 2 different scenarios that might happen.
Okay.
One is you add something to the train. The other one is you want to merge something immediately when something is already in the train.
Got it. Okay. We should clarify that.
Yeah.
To make sure that our understanding is correct there, because I can see the two different cases. I think the merge immediately is the thing that just like blows up the train anyway, right? And then we have to start it all over. Okay.
I'll confirm. I think Hayana was the designer at the time for this. I'll circle back with her. But I think this was what was the last thing that was pulled out of the discussions in this issue and pasted here in the description. Okay. When I get clarification on that, I'll put in the proof of concept issue on what we want to validate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think basically that the workflow one is somehow the way the train works today, but with the modification of that the merge is not like a normal merge, but it's fast forward merge, so it requires a rebase. But I think in that case, we might need to rebase first and then run a pipeline. So we might need to swap the 3 and 2. But again, that will be part of the POC to confirm that.
Okay. Merges and more with password. Is that both your question in the agenda for discussion 2 and 3, Fabio?
No, the workflow 2 was a different one, but I'm not sure if anybody has any other questions. Let's say I go ahead with that. So the workflow 2, basically a scenario where somebody starts the merge train, but then we have another merge request that is a hot patch we want to merge immediately. And when we merge immediately, we are saying that so we should allow people to still do the merge immediately, but then that will cause the MR on the also that will need to the author of the merge request needs to rebase in order to merge immediately because we have a fast forward merge only. So it's not possible to just click merge. You have to ensure that you are first you have to rebase on master and then click merge. But as you rebase on master, you push your changes, a new pipeline will start. So you have to wait until the pipeline finishes before you can actually merge. But because we have a running train, that means in the meantime, while your pipeline runs and you're waiting to click then merge immediately, the merge train might actually merge something in the meantime, which will invalidate your rebase. And then you are stuck basically you have to try to rebase your merge request all the time, but you are actually not doing anything because the merge, and as long as the merge train runs and is merging things, you are not able to merge anything immediately. Because of the fast forward merge, so that basically invalidates everything after. Like as soon as something is merged by the merge train, it automatically invalidates everything else. So I was wondering, instead of merge immediately, should we consider doing something like add on top of the train, which will be the equivalent of merge immediately, but the MR is added on the very top of the train. The merge train is recalculated once, and then you as author of the merge request, you don't have to deal with rebasing anything. You just add something on the top of the train.
I got lost. I have to say that line, I didn't notice it before. It makes the scope of this issue way bigger than just supporting fast forward merge in merge train. I almost, on the one hand, I think I want to de-scope that from this work as long as we can confirm that we aren't. I think the thought there was don't break merge immediately, but there's conflicting functionality there as far as, I mean, merge immediately basically bypass merge trains. And whenever that happened, it would cause everything to have to be rebased, right? Because it.
Yes, and this is one problem. But the other problem is that even if you don't have merge train, and if you want to merge immediately, because on your project you have set fast forward merge, you can only merge if you have rebase on top of master. There is nothing else merged in the meantime. So you have a clean rebase on top of master.
Mm-hmm.
So only that case you can push, you can actually merge it. But after you rebase, there might be the train might actually merge other things, which invalidates your rebase. And this is a kind of workflow 2.4. Basically, in this case, like you as author might be stuck in that loop where you actually can't merge immediately. It might be easier to add something to the train and wait for the train than actually you trying to merge immediately and rebase your things manually.
Do you think we have the exact problem right now? So, I mean, even if we don't have fast forward merge train, when someone merge immediately, we rerun all the merge train, as far as I remember. So we already have that problem independent of this fast forward, right?
Yes and no. So So if you merge so if you want to merge immediately, you wait for the pipeline to pass it, and then to merge immediately actually allows you to merge immediately. Then the train is going to be stopped and recalculated back, right? But with the fast forward merge, you can't merge immediately if you don't have like a clean rebase.
Correct.
So if you have in the meantime a train that keeps merging things, that invalidates all the time your rebase. Even if you have like if you want to press merge immediately, that is not allowed.
Okay, I thought you just I thought you mentioned about so we have a train right now. We have 3 merge requests waiting to be merged, and someone clicked merge immediately for another merge request, and all of these 3 merge requests will be recalculated and rerun the pipeline. So
yes,
so we have this problem currently. So I thought you mentioned this one.
Yeah, so this will be cause the merge train to be recalculated, but if you can successfully merge immediately. So
correct.
So if you merge immediately fast enough, faster than the merge train, then you can merge immediately and the merge train is going to be recalculated. But if you're not fast enough, because after maybe you want to wait for the pipeline to pass and the merge train is invalidating your rebase all the time, then you need to rebase again and wait for another pipeline, and then the merge train keeps revalidating that. Unless you have to stop the train and then merge everything, merge your changes immediately, and then start the train again. But I don't know if there is a way today to do something like stop the train and then start it again, like resume the train, something like that.
Okay. Okay, I misunderstood actually. So okay, thank you.
No problem. I think it's just a specific problem of fast forward merge that makes things more complicated, because it's like having 2 different types of merge train. Like fast forward merge is a sort of lock on the target branch, and the train it works the same way. So the 2 things actually are conflicting with each other. That's why I'm saying maybe instead of merging immediately, we can allow to add something on the top of the train, so the train is recalculated and you don't have to wait. You don't have to have this kind of race condition against the train.
That would actually serve what is part of the purpose of merge immediately, is to get ahead of the train. And if we allow it to be put in position 1 of the train, it would achieve it while still operating it in the context of a merge train. Yeah, that would be one approach to do it. And it would trigger the recalculating of everything else in the train in the way that it normally works. But that would be something I think would be an additional issue I would create for that, as far as approaching it. It's really changing the behavior of merge immediately in the context of a running merge train, as opposed to specific to this topic of supporting fast forward merge. I can nest that under this epic to solve for that, but it's kind of unrelated too, right? It's just changing the behavior of merge immediately and merge and how that is handled or moved into position 1 of merge train.
I think even if we do in a separate issue, that still needs to be there when we enable the feature flag, because when you enable merge train, you still want to have the ability to merge something immediately if some urgent thing happen. So without that, you won't have the ability to merge something immediately. So you always have to wait on the merge train.
I think they can do it now. Merge immediately.
But they have to disable either fast forward merge, or they have to disable merge train in that case. They can't use.
Oh. Okay, I'm not that clear that those are mutually exclusive because I'm not that familiar with merge trains. Okay, I have to go look at that. In which case, it's fine. I'll make that issue as part of this epic. But just to make sure I understand correctly, Fabio, what we're saying is we would, the behavior change would be that when they click merge immediately, and we would allow that feature to also exist when merge train is enabled, that we would put it in position 1 of the merge train if user clicks merge immediately.
Yeah, so if fast forward is enabled and merge train is enabled, you have the ability to add on top of the train instead of merge immediately.
Oh,
if,
okay, gotcha.
If fast forward is disabled, then you can merge immediately like we do today.
Okay. Okay.
Again, I'm not 100% sure. I think I'm kind of still trying to understand the problem as well, but this so far is my own understanding. And
I'm gonna work with our tech writer on an MR to describe what behavior we want it to be, and then we maybe could have Shinya and CI engineer take a look at that and see if that makes sense. As far as a documentation of explaining it just in very simple terms how this would work. Okay. Were you about to say something, Cheryl?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a quick question. Maybe this is me lacking context on fast forward merges, but Fabio, in your scenario, if you want to merge immediately when a train is running, and then that puts your MR in position 1, could it potentially invalidate any of the ones MR is currently on the train? Let's say those MRs are actually all modifying the same file.
yeah, so when I think this also happened today. So if you want to merge something immediately, invalidates the train, and then the train needs to be recreated. This is expected because you're just putting something on top of everything else. So all the changes will need to be either rebased or need to be recalculated on top of each other. I think this is expected. The problem is more that with fast forward, you can't merge immediately. Well, you can merge immediately if you're fast enough, but you have always this kind of race condition that I think we should not expose to the end user, and should be something like, I want to merge this immediately, but maybe we can still call it merge immediately, but then under the hood we add it on position 1 of the train, so something is slightly different. But for the user, it looks like the same thing. I'm not sure. Maybe it makes sense to be explicit, or maybe not. I'm not sure. But it's interesting because you want to merge immediately, but you might not be able to merge immediately because the master keeps changing all the time. And this may be totally fine for repos that are very like low traffic, but in GitLab.com, I think like GitLab org projects, I think it will be very, very bad.
Sorry, I was creating the POC issue. I'm actually gonna call it a spike, so that part of it is kind of coming to understanding of how it behaves now. And then also maybe manually figuring out if the rebase and everything that simulate what the merge chain would do. So any other questions on this? So in summary, I think the way we're going to approach it is in the next milestone, we'll do a spike / POC to evaluate the technical approach to get an understanding of how merge train handles fast forward merge now, and then POC of evaluating if some technical approaches is feasible. in addition, I'm going to work on the documentation on this, describing what behavior we want for this feature. Maybe a first draft with the tech writer's help, and then we will have, we could have everyone help with that async. And then once we have that clear, maybe the future upcoming milestones, we can start implementing the front end changes as well as the actual logic to do the automatic rebase of a fast forward merge. Okay. Hey, Cheryl, before you joined, I was asking on a spike, is it just something we time box to a milestone, or do we actually wait a spike? It's because it's something that's kind of amorphous. So I don't know if we actually wait a spike.
We haven't decided on how we estimate spikes.
Oh, okay.
I had a proposal. I don't think it really is valid at GitLab. So
Okay.
yeah, we need to go back and figure out what we want
Okay.
to do with spikes. But yeah.
Okay. So in the absence of a wait, can I put it into a candidate for the next milestone? Because we usually don't want to put stuff in a milestone without having a wait.
We can chat offline.
Okay. All right. Okay. I am going to put the documentation issue into the next milestone. I'll work with the tech writer on that. And I'll circle back with the designer to understand what was meant by the two workflows there, because I think I'm not sure if the description is refined enough from what the latest should be. All right, folks. I think we've taken this as far as we can, and I have the action items on what to do next on this. It might benefit us, whoever whoever works on this spike to leverage Shinya's knowledge on merge train as well. I think he had a clear idea on how to implement this. He just didn't it changed hands in groups before they could take it on. All right, folks, give you back 15, 20 minutes of your day. Bye.